Good morning and welcome to Unity of Tacoma. I'm so glad that everybody's here today. I'm glad that you've decided to join us on the live stream. Thank you for being here. My name is Reverend Erwin Johnson, and I am the spiritual leader for this morning. And so I'm really excited that you decided to join us. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. If this is your first time, welcome. We're so glad that you decided to try us out. We're here every Sunday, 10 a.m., and then you can check us out on our YouTube any other time of the week, so it's so nice to have you. I've decided this week I've decided over the summertime I'm going to speak intermittently about topics that involve the origins and the building up of unity as a movement. So today is my first Sunday talking about that, and we're going to talk a little bit about New Thought movement and how hypnosis is connected. So most people don't realize that that is a thing. They're like, when I brought this up earlier, the people I were talking to said they didn't really understand what I was talking about. I said, yes, I'm bringing a new concept. So we're going to talk about that today, and throughout the summer I'll be bringing other New Thought unity concepts that might be new or different. So I'm really excited to start that today. I'm going to start off. First I want to introduce our musical guests. We have Matt and Becky here today, and we're so glad that they're here. And they're going to be starting off here in just a minute after our prayer for protection. So if you know the prayer for protection, please say it with me. If you do not know it yet, that's wonderful. Just sit and listen in meditation, and we'll go through the prayer. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. So Matt and Becky are going to take us off into song, and then we'll come back for our affirmation.
Thanks, Lori. Good morning.
Good morning. We're half the zebras. The other half of the zebras are in the clutches of a hyena, so we're trying to extricate them. It's good for the hyenas, though. Anyway, we're coming together. I got love.
I got love.
I got peace.
I got peace.
I got joy flowing like a river. I got love.
I got love.
I got peace.
I got peace.
I got joy flowing like a river. One heart, one mind, one love flowing like a river. I got hope. I got strength. I got faith to move every mountain. I got hope. I got strength. I got faith to move every mountain. One heart, one mind, one love to move every mountain. I got you. You got me. We got us. We're coming together. I got you. You got me. We got us. We're coming together. One heart, one mind, one love. We're coming together. 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 One heart, one mind, one love. We're coming together. Dance break. So if you're home, go ahead and dance. If you're here, groove as much as you want to groove. Niecy's going in another room to get down. We're coming together. We're coming together. We're coming together. We're coming together. One heart, one mind, one heart, one mind, one heart, one mind. We're coming together.
Woo! Thank you so much. Do you think that little tiny bit of exercise, that little dance move, that can count towards my aerobics for today?
Yeah.
How much do you think that was? 2 or 3 minutes 4 minutes, 10 minutes. That was a 10-minute workout. Oh, thank you so much. That was wonderful. Our affirmation for today, and I picked it from the Daily Word. Occasionally I use the Daily Word. There have been some changes about using the Daily Word in our service, so I will use it occasionally. And I picked one from the affirmation and the reading from February 27th of 2000, because I thought it fit our theme for today. So our affirmation for today: surrendering to God, I work in partnership with the one power in the universe. Surrendering to God, I work in partnership with the one power in the universe. And the reading for today, the topic is surrender. The word surrender may bring to mind the thought of giving up something I am reluctant to give up. However, when I surrender myself completely and wholly into God's care, I discover that I am not giving up anything at all. Rather, I am working in partnership with God. In surrendering to God, I am giving over to the Creator those things with which I may have been struggling. As I release concerns to God, I feel such a blessed relief, for I know I will never have to walk any path in life alone. On every path, God is guiding me, loving me, and nurturing me. As I surrender to the will of God, I acknowledge that the one power in all the universe is in charge. God is the presence and power to which I surrender all. And our scripture lesson for today: that which is already has been, and that which is to be already is. Ecclesiastes 3:15. I'm going to bring the Zebas back for another song, and then, well, Matt and Becky. And then we're going to come back with the message.
Here come the Buddha, he come walking up slowly. He got Sangha eyeball, he won holy roller. He takes each step mindfully. Got to be awakened, he just do what he please. Shoe shine, she got earth-dyed garments, she got mudra fingers, she send loving kindness, she says, I'm in you, you're in me. One thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Come together right now, mindfully. He got full awareness, he won meditator, he got feet crossed above his knees. Hold you in his presence, you can feel total ease. She dedicated, she sits early morning, she got muddy water to plant lotus flowers, she say all and one they interbe. Got to be the real thing, cause she's inside of me. Come together right now, mindfully. Come together right now, mindfully.
That was awesome. Love that. Thank you. God, this was great. All right. Wow. Hi, everybody. Hi. So I want to tell a story. A few years ago, before the pandemic. Now, when I was writing this, that first line, when I decided I was going to talk about that, I was like, isn't it funny how the pandemic has become a marker in time? So everything, before the pandemic or during the pandemic, and now we're after the pandemic, that we are now just referring to everything before and after the pandemic. It seems really weird. But anyway, before the pandemic, a few years ago, I was working at a different church, and I had a spiritualist congregation that came through our church, and they decided to rent some space. And when they came in to rent some space with us, they were there for a couple of years, and then they decided, their minister decided to move on. And so they were left without a minister. Now, I was not a spiritualist minister, but I was a minister in the church, and they had asked us if we could step in and take over and do the ministry for their spiritualist church, because we were already there. It was right after our regular service, and so we decided, sure. I had been to spiritualist church before. I'd been to their services. I understand how they went. It wasn't too much different than us, not really. A little bit, but not really. And I'll explain that a little bit later. But I was taking this, so I decided as I was going to become a minister of this congregation that I would have to learn a little bit about spiritualism. So I decided to take their ministry course that they have at the Morris Pratt Institute, which is the accrediting organization for the National Spiritualist Association of Churches here in the United States. So they have a group of classes that you can take to become a minister of the spiritualist church. Now, it was not my intention to become a minister in a spiritualist church, but I was supporting a spiritualist church, so I had to learn a little bit about what they were doing. So I enjoyed it. I really did. Learning about a totally different faith that seemed similar to us, but when you get deep into what they believe and how they practice, very, very different than what we had. And if you're unfamiliar with the spiritualist movement and what spiritualists believe, has anybody heard of spiritualists? Spiritualism? Spiritualists are similar to the New Thought movement in that they share similar beginnings. And they also believe in similar things, like the importance of meditation, the importance of prayer, the importance of being able to connect with the source, or the spirit is what they call, the Great Spirit is what they call that. And so it's very similar to what we do here at Unity. We connect with Source, connect with God, it's going through us and as us. Well, spiritualism is different, though, in a way. Oh, the sun, wonderful. In a way, yay. Spiritualism is different in practice, though, because in addition to prayer and meditation, the spiritualists believe that there is a connection with spirit and the ability to interact with people who have transitioned from this life. So in essence, they can communicate with the dead. And that was the only difference. The service was exactly the same as ours. They did prayers and meditations. They had a message like us. But after the message, they would give messages to each other from the other side. So they were psychic mediums. And this is part of their religion, and this is what they did. And so when I got into this, I was like, wow, that is much more than I thought it really was. Now, granted, I had been to their service and had a reading. My own personal psychic, Amy, is, shout out to Amy if she's watching. She is a spiritualist, and I love her. And so I understood, but I didn't understand. I really hadn't really delved deep into what spiritualism was and what the history was. And the history is what we're going to talk about today, because that is where it intersects with the Unity movement and the New Thought movement. So my talk today isn't about spiritualism, and if you're interested out there in learning more about spiritualism and what I was talking about, that deeper stuff that they get into, please let us know. If you're watching on YouTube, you can comment and say, hey, yeah, I'd like to hear more about that. And if you're here sitting here and you want to know more about that, and I can create a talk on that in the future, and we can talk more in depth about spiritualism. In fact, we have a member here, that a person who visits quite often, that she is from the Spiritualist Church. So that would be interesting to talk to her about that too. She has a lot of knowledge. But today we're going to talk about the common connection between spiritualism and the New Thought movement and mesmerism. Now, does anybody heard of mesmerism? If you've been to psychology, if you've been in psychology in college, you know what mesmerism is. But mesmerism, I had to take classes 3 different times that on the history of psychology, and they include Franz Anton Mesmer. And Franz Anton Mesmer was an 18th century Austrian physician who believed that there was this invisible fluid-like substance that went through the human body that he called animal magnetism. And this fluid could be manipulated, changed, and used in a way to improve life and cause healing in the body. So he used magnets to do that. And the person who interacted with that individual was the magnetizer. And Mesmer, he used this technique throughout Europe in the 18th century. And during his treatments using these magnets, he would induce a trance. And the trance then would result in the either improvement of illness or complete healings. So their physical and psychological ailments would either get better or they would completely disappear. But later on, he realized one day he went to go to perform a treatment on someone, that he forgot his magnets. Because it was going to be a big to do, and there were lots of people who were going to be observing, and they'd come to watch this healing, he decided to go ahead and do it anyway without the magnets, and found out that the actual treatment was not in the magnet. It was in the trance state that the people went into. So it was the trance induction that caused the healing. Now, his work was criticized by people of the time. Doctors, scientists of that time thought that he was full of malarkey, and so he had to move around Europe because he would be discredited here and discredited there. So he moved around, but he kept doing this trance-like state induction for people to be able to create this healing environment within their bodies. And however, after some time, he ran out of places to go. He couldn't go anywhere else, that people didn't know already that people thought he was a charlatan, so he had to retire in relative obscurity in Austria, that he just kind of disappeared. So it may seem to our contemporary worldview that this idea of this fluid running through us as animal magnetism seems so outdated. And of course, that part of his theory may be very outdated. However, his theory continued on after him, even though he didn't even know it. In 1842, another practitioner, James Braid, he realized that this mesmerism, this idea of trance-like state, was the reason that these healings were happening. He realized that this needed to be expanded. So in about the mid-1800s, he created what we know as hypnotism today. So you may be asking, as we go through all this, now how does Mesmer and this Braid dude have anything to do with the Unity movement? Well, that story about mesmerism continues, and it continues on in history. And it's interesting because the theories of Braid and the theories of Mesmer influenced the father of the New Thought movement, and his name was Phineas Parkhouse Quimby. And he realized that this trance-like state was the power of suggestion and it was more powerful than anything that was materially used. So it wasn't the magnets or so much the environment, but it was the state of mind that actually encouraged this healing within the body. And he believed that your mind then can heal, and it's the key to our wellness. It's our frame of reference. It's how we think and believe that cause us to be well or ill. So if we are ill, it's a mistaken belief. And if we are well, we know our truth. We are learning the truth that heals the body. And even though he wasn't a very religious man in the context of that time period, he had believed that he had rediscovered the healings that Jesus performed on people in his time. So the story continues. This Quimby guy, he decides he later would help out a person by the name of Mary Baker Eddy. And she had a healing. And then Mary Baker Eddy then went on to perform and to perform her own healings on other people and started her own movement, the Christian Science movement. Now, at first, she decided that she didn't know this guy Quimby, and it was all her idea. Well, later she had to admit that Park Quimby was the guy who actually introduced her to this. So this healing technique that she went on to share with her movement in the Christian Science, and that Quimby learned from Mesmer, became the movement that we know as the New Thought today. So again, you may be thinking, well, so what's that got to do with us? We are the Unity movement. We are not Christian Scientists. Well, it continues. So this is like the first part. If you ever read the first parts of the Bible and they say, this person begot this person, this begot, okay, this is where we're at. So this person, Quimby then, who went on to do Mary Baker Eddy, who went on to have a student named Emma C. Hopkins. And she went on, she broke away from Christian Science, knowing that she had another idea, another better idea. So she went on to train others to form a new branch of New Thought, which would later become Science of Mind or Center for Spiritual Living. And a student of Emma's, his name was Dr. E.B. Weeks, then went on to inspire Myrtle Fillmore to have her own personal healing. So she and her husband then went on to start the Unity movement. So here we are. Yes, we finally got here. So what happened with Mesmer then went down to Quimby, went down to Mary Baker Eddy, went down to Emma Hopkins, and then E.B. Weeks finally made it to Myrtle Fillmore. And Charles and Myrtle then started the Unity movement that we know today. So yay! So hypnosis went on to become, as we know, a therapeutic practice that many psychologists and psychotherapists and even psychiatrists use today to help people lose weight, to help people to decrease or get rid of a bad habit, such as smoking, and to reduce pain during and after surgery. So all of these have been proved at some point in our contemporary society. Hypnosis is something that is absolutely accepted and mainstream today. We here at Unity use hypnosis all the time, and we don't call it that. And it's an interesting thought. In fact, I was reading a daily word as I was looking for today's daily word, I found a daily word from the 1930s that completely denied mesmerism and hypnosis as any form of healing technique. And it's funny because they had completely lost touch with where their traditions and where their history was. They had no idea, or at least they were trying to deny it as an influence, and they wanted to move on. But it actually is an important aspect of what we do today here at Unity. So you will notice that our affirmative prayer, for example, there is a certain intonation to the voice that happens to the speaker. It's softer and it's soothing. And when you're going through an affirmative prayer, there's a rhythm to the way that they speak that's calming, that brings you down, slows your breath, and gives you a place of ease and comfort, allows you to get into that space where you're able to be receptive and open to the spirit that's available to you. It's in the language. It's in the way you talk. It's in the way we speak to each other. Everywhere is a suggestion. We are using the power of suggestion to encourage our minds to change. Now, spiritualists would call this a trance state. When we get into this state where we're open into that affirmative space, where we're in the middle of prayer or meditation, we are in a trance-like state. And it's highly suggestive. It allows you to be more open-minded. Your body and mind is more relaxed, so it allows information to come in better. And the language that we use, the words that we use that reinforce what we're trying to say or what we're trying to convey, that is part of how trance-like states, mesmerism, hypnosis today is performed. Now, this is in no way a type of trance that is woo-woo. Now, many people think, well, trance-like states, that seems really odd. No, it's absolutely not. It's supported by scientific data that it is a state that encourages our own health and well-being. It is not just a philosophy. It's not just a religious idea. This is something that they have proved, in science they don't prove, they have data to suggest. So the data to suggest that this is something that's very important for us in our well-being. So hypnosis is not woo-woo. Mesmerism, trance-like states, all encourage health and well-being within ourselves. Now, we use self-hypnosis all the time here at Unity. And we're going to be doing a self-hypnosis here in just a few minutes that's going to encourage us to get into a trance-like state. But that is not any different than what we do when I do guided meditations with you every single Sunday. It is a suggestion when I tell you to sit, close your eyes, take a deep breath, feel the floor beneath your feet. All of that is part of the suggestion that happens during self-hypnosis. So it's repetitive. It's something we do here at Unity every single week. So affirmative prayer and the belief that we have the ability to change our own minds and their own health in our own body by using prayer, meditation, and the suggestion that we are who we want to be. So affirmations are really important. I've always been someone who likes to be guided through meditation. And it took me a long time because I thought it was kind of a failure on my part to be able to meditate in that way. I thought, I was supposed to sit down and just breathe and just allow that to happen. But I have this ability to wander off and then I get imaginative. So I've come to the idea in my mind, and I've come to terms with the fact that I need some visualization to help me into that meditative state. So guided self-hypnosis I have used in many different aspects of my life, and I have a specific hypnotist that I like to use that's on YouTube, and his name is Paul McKenna. And he helped me create a confidence, so I wouldn't be standing here if I didn't have that. And my husband also, he quit smoking using Paul McKenna. So it's not Paul that's creating this circumstance within you. He is suggesting and opening up a space within you that allows you to take that in as your own truth. So it really helps. So I use self-hypnosis and visualization type of meditations all the time to get me into a place of receptiveness and openness. Now, my absolute favorite hypnotist is not a hypnotherapist at all. In fact, he's very famous in the UK. His name is Darren Brown. And he says, you have to realize that hypnosis doesn't really exist. It just works on people's natural suggestibility, their expectations and capacity to unconsciously role play. And you can't make someone do anything that they do not want to do. So a lot of people are very hesitant to go into hypnosis because they feel that they're going to lose control. Some of us envision maybe of something that we've seen, somebody performing on stage where they pull somebody up and they make them quack like a duck or walk around, like a chicken. And that can happen, but they have to be willing in their minds to be able to do that. You can't do that if that's not something you don't want to do. You have control, and you do not have to do what they ask you to do. You don't give your control over to someone. They're just really good at suggesting at the right place at the right time in the right way. And then so for myself, I can never see myself getting up in front of a bunch of people quacking like a duck. I'm probably never going to do that, even under hypnosis. So I'm going to say that I have that control, that ability to say, absolutely not. But if someone was more extroverted, somebody who is more into performance and loves maybe acting or that has that personality style, and they get up there and they get into this hypnosis and they get into this relaxed state, yeah, they might be more willing, more able to do those things. And so, absolutely, hypnotism is not something that you walk around and you're a zombie if no one gets you out of trance. That's not what happens. It is something that has to be reinforced. Now, I once saw a hypnotist, and I've only seen a couple hypnotists in my life, but I saw one once 20 years ago for my anxiety. And she actually said, if I were to touch this space between my two knuckles right here, and every time I did that, it would make me relaxed and calm. Well, at first it really worked well, but I didn't reinforce it. So even though I can do this, and I remember, she was good enough for me to remember exactly the spot 20 years later, it doesn't really make me more relaxed because I didn't reinforce it. If I had continued, or I'd continued to see her and every week we continued to talk about that reinforcement spot, then absolutely this would be my special spot. But it is not. And so you cannot lose control, but you can use hypnotism and hypnotherapy as a tool to be able to change your mind, to change your behavior. Just like the mind practices that we have here at Unity, it comes down to our willingness to be able to practice and to be able to be open to the outcome. So hypnosis can be a tool that you use for self-transformation, but you have to be willing. It's not something that just happens to you. You have to be open and ready to say, I am ready to make this change. And some people just don't make good candidates for hypnotism. They don't make good candidates. They're just not willing, or they're unconsciously unable to let go and to be able to be that suggestive. And that is not a bad thing. That is not in any way to say that, that's not cool. You can't be hypnotized. Absolutely, that's not the case. People are different. And so if you can't be hypnotized, if you're one of those people, that's just who you are. And so hypnotherapy doesn't work for everyone, and that's okay. Everyone has their own way of dealing with things, and hypnotherapy works for some but not for others. So if you go out, find a hypnotherapist, they will explain to you, and they will tell you, when they look at you, they'll say, you're not a really good candidate. At least someone who's really skilled that will be able to do that. When I was in the spiritualist movement, when I was working with this group, and I was with them for about 2 years, I learned something called past life regression. And it was a class that I had to take, and it involved using hypnotherapy. Now, as a psych major, I had taken hypnotherapy before. It wasn't new, but it did take you beyond just your life. So you can do progressive life review in your hypnotherapy. It means that you go back into your life and you start going through your parts of your life that may need help or some looking at or some healing, and you can go back and do that. Well, past life regression is when you go through your life, but you go beyond your life into lives that you had previously. And so during that hypnotherapy session, you get into that relaxed state, and you go back into your childhood, and then you go beyond your childhood, and you get some really interesting stories. It's all about tapping into that unconscious understanding, and so it's just a lot of fun. And so people get a little afraid of that. You don't have to be. It is one of my teachers in the spiritualist movement. She says, "You know what? If you don't get it the first time, make it up." And I'm like, "What?" I said, "What?" She goes, "Imagination is where it happens." So open up that space for imagination. Open up that space for allowing that suggestion, that idea that something different, something outside of your understanding can happen, because it can. And that's what she was trying to tell me. So this idea of mesmerism, this idea of hypnotherapy and hypnosis, that influence on the New Thought movement, also working with the spiritualists at the same time, influencing them in their trance-like states that they create within themselves to be able to connect with the spirits on the other side. And it's all about positive reinforcement, like what we do here at Unity. It's all about taking the behaviors that we want to create in our lives and reinforcing them. We suggest that this is a wonderful thing. We would like to feel joy and happiness and health and wellness. And we are suggesting that each and every day with our affirmations. So in essence, we are using the idea of hypnosis, the idea of trance-like states, the idea of mesmerism as a way to be able to create the lives that we would like to have it and experience every single day. So there it is. There's my intersection between mesmerism and Unity today. We have all of this going on, what's happening today, what's happening then, and now you knew something you didn't know, that the Unity movement had a guy walking around putting magnets on other people to move animal magnetism around, and that's how we started out. So I probably wouldn't, if I'm telling somebody about Unity, I'm probably not going to go out there and say, I'm in this movement that started this way. They're going to look at you and go, okay, yeah, whatever. But I will explain that there is quite a long history that coincides with the spiritualists that I was talking about and a lot of other alternative new thought movements that were happening at that time. So today, in a few moments, we're going to have a self-guided hypnosis. It is going to be a little bit longer than our normal meditation, so get ready to get comfortable. But first, I'm going to have Mac and Becky come back and give us another song. Thanks.
Something's calling me. Something's calling me. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Feel like I'm walking on marbles. Can't still the earth beneath my feet. And is my head in the clouds, my naked legs left dangling. I can feel my heart begin to pound. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Long dark night, my soul it wanders. Can't see the light that moves me. If God is everything and everywhere that I belong, Spirit gently wakes me from my sleep. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've I'm grateful like I've never been before.
Thank you. Perfect way to start off meditation. Thank you, Matt. Today's meditation will require you to be able to visualize within your mind. And if you have a little difficulty bringing up ideas, thoughts, and pictures within your mind, then just allow my words and just the idea to be able to support you throughout this hypnosis. Now, again, this is not a hypnosis where you will lose control. This is a self-hypnosis. It is just guided by me. And so you allow yourself to be able to be open to the words and visualizing what's in that I'm going to be explaining to you in your mind's eye. And if you're a very good visualizer, this is going to be a great meditation for you. So I'd like you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. And just allow yourself to get settled onto the surface you're sitting on, feeling your feet planted on the floor, supported by the earth. Allowing your breath to come in and out of your body, not forced, not too deep, not too shallow. Just allowing it to flow as easily and as slowly as possible without too much interference. And we're going to begin this meditation with a countdown from 3 to 1. On the count of 1, I would like you to close your eyes if you have not already done so. 3, your eyes are feeling heavy and tired. 2, they are beginning to water and maybe tear a little bit. 1, your eyes are so heavy that you just allow them to completely relax, to close all the way. And as you sit in this completely relaxed state, visualize yourself standing near a beautiful hillside that stretches way beyond what the eye can see, up towards in front of you. And finding yourself at this hill, you follow this spring shower that came just before you, and there's dew on the ground. And as you walk forward, you can feel the softness of the grass. And in front of you, you see this beautiful rainbow appear with all its gorgeous colors. And that rainbow settles just at your feet. And at the end of this beautiful rainbow that is settled at your feet, you see that there is a pouch. You pick up this pouch and you look inside and you see that there are many magical seeds. Magical seeds that you can scatter as you walk. And so you walk forward to the bottom of the hill. You reach inside your pouch and you scatter some of these beautiful magical seeds. And in a moment, you see these seeds grow and bloom. And in this profusion of beautiful flowers, the color red becomes predominant. You see red poppies growing near the ground. You smell the rich odor of roses nearby. You see red tulips opening to the morning sun. Experience the feeling of red all around you. And as you walk forward through the deep red flowers, appreciate your own physical nature. Remember the physical sensations which bring you comfort and pleasure. Appreciate all of your physical senses which allow you to be part of life and to experience the fullness and joy of living. And you continue to walk forward, upward along the gentle slope of the hill, and you reach again into your rainbow pouch, and you scatter more seeds. Feel the sense of expectancy for a new birth of orange blossoms bursting into bloom all around you. cast your eyes on the field of wonderful orange blooms that surround you. See the tufts of orange marigolds. Watch the birth of crocuses with the orange buds opening in the light. And see birds of paradise growing profusely and filling your awareness with the color of orange. Visualize an increased growth of the color orange. Reflect for a moment on the value of contact with your fellow human beings. Appreciate the importance of interaction with other people. Realize that you gain through social activities and contacts with others. Recognize the beautiful ability you have to interact with fellow human beings, knowing and allowing yourself to move into the next region of the garden while you are expecting the beauty to unfold. Feel your awareness glow with anticipation as you scatter more magical seeds and experience the strong, bold essence of yellow. See sunflowers growing strong and tall, yellow light reflecting from their petals, and pass through the daffodils and feel their yellow cups caressing your legs. Walk gently forward and experience and appreciate the beauty and fragrance of the yellow roses. See the delicate petals unfolding before your eyes and scatter your seeds with assurance that the growth of yellow will flourish. For the moment, appreciate your ability to be discerning, to flow with change, and to make decisions which will make your life and those around you have more meaning. Relax and flow with the feeling of gratitude of change, knowing that change for a soul walking towards the light always means that there is growth on the other side. Know that through change, real growth can take place. Begin to move again upward where you reach the next region of the hillside garden. Reach into that magic pouch again, and with your magical seeds, you feel a deep sense of inner peace as you scattered seeds that bring forth the lush green growth. Experience and see new grasses and new clover springing up all around. That fresh scent of green pine needles, and see the tiny green leaves of the aspen trees. All of these fluttering beyond numbers in front of you, sounding like spring rain in the gentle breeze. As you scatter your seeds, which promise a continuing expansion of green, feel the security of the presence of life and light deep within you. Get in touch with the health of your body. Feel strength and allow it to grow deep within you. Know that you are in control of your health. You continue to travel onward into the next region of your grassy knoll and scatter your magic seeds with marvelous appreciation for the color of blue. Bluebells spring up to greet you as you walk. You feel yourself saturated with the feeling of these blue blossoms. Look around the bushes of lilacs and take another handful of seeds and scatter them, growing more and more blue flowers. Anticipate the lush growth of blue. Take a moment to revel at your ability to take a look inside of yourself. Be grateful for your ability to know that this is the energy and the nature of your true being, which you allow to be expressed every day in love, peace, and harmony. When you close your eyes for sleep, this is also the beautiful, peaceful place you go for renewing, restoring, and revitalizing your being. Assure yourself now that every day in your awareness of the beautiful blue energy that you trust your intuition and knowledge to magnify more and more. In continuing your upward path, you reach inside your pouch, spreading more seeds to find yourself in a vast expanse that surrounds your feet and legs and a lovely field of violets. Feel yourself experiencing lavender and violet, and let the color permeate your entire being. Gaze and let your eyes fill with this color, and allow it to be part of your experience as you move to the uppermost part of your garden. Cast the seeds which allow this endless growth of violet. Appreciate your ability to create powerful images with this violet idea and be totally in charge of your life. And as you stand in this part of the garden, and from here, you look to the sky and see the pure light of the sun. Visualize the rays of sunshine showering the entire garden and feel the ripples of vibration as drops of pure, brilliant light showers the garden from God's energy. Move forward to the very top of the hill and scatter the remaining seeds. Now see and feel a beautiful profusion of white roses growing close to you. Look around and see the lush growth of gardenias in the trees and out of the blossoms of the dogwood. Feel a great joy in the knowledge that every one of the colors and essences you have experienced in your rainbow garden are a necessary part of your being. And in experiencing the colors and forms, you identify with the oneness of all life energy. All aspects of your being vibrate at the various colors, energy frequencies, and all are open to your demand and control for change. All of life's colors and energies need to be open to allow your recognition and appreciation, being a new awareness of life's beauty and life's love that surrounds you. And as you begin to walk down life's hillside through the violet, the blue, the green, the yellow, the orange, and the red flowers, know that you can return to this hillside at any time. And that each time you return, your inner being and your outer being will have a new awareness. As you grow and develop in all aspects of your being, the world around you will change, and beauty will surround you always. As we end this time of meditation, I'm going to count to 5, and your eyes are going to be open, and then you're going to be fully aware, feeling calm, rested, refreshed, and relaxed. 1, slowly, calmly, easily, you return to your full awareness once again. 2, each muscle and nerve in your body is loose and limp and relaxed, and you feel wonderfully good. 3, from head to toe, you are feeling perfect in every way. Physically perfect, mentally perfect, emotionally calm, and serene. On the number 4, your eyes begin to feel sparkling clear. And on the next number count, your eyelids open, fully aware, fully calm, rested, refreshed, relaxed, invigorated, and full of energy. Number 5, you are fully aware now. Your eyelids are open. Take a good deep breath. Fill your lungs with that oxygen and stretch a little bit. And I'm going to invite Matt and Becky back out to take us out of meditation, and we'll come back for some announcements.
This is a new call and response sing along. So it says there is only one mind in which we all live and move and have our being. So she'll do the call.
You can sing with me or you can sing with Matt.
Yeah.
It's up to you. There is only
time through.
There is only one mind.
There is only one mind in which we all live and move
And
and have our being.
there is only one heart
There is only one
in
heart
which we all live and move.
in which we all live and move. God and I are one. God and I are one. One more time. God and I are one.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. All right, we've come to the portion of our service where we open ourselves to give, and I'm going to abbreviate this part of our service because I went a little long on that meditation. But there are several ways you can give to Unity of Tacoma, and anything that you can give and provide is very accepted to the deepest part of my heart, because that just lets us know that you're watching, that you care about what we're doing here. We have this wonderful baby diaper drive that we're doing. If you're wondering, why is this woman standing next to this pile of baby diapers? And that is not my area of expertise anymore. I've done that before, but these are for the Family Housing Network. And so we are donating this for the Family Housing Network. So if you are interested in giving to us in any way so we can help with these outreach programs and the music and the ministry that we do here, please do so. You can use our Facebook. You can go to our Facebook page and you can donate there. There's a donate button at the top of our page. You can go donate through Zelle using our telephone number 253-576-3225. You can mail a check to Unity of Tacoma, P.O. Box 112289, Tacoma, Washington 98411. You can also go to our website at unityoftacoma.org/donate, and you can donate via PayPal there. And all the information for donation is on that page if you didn't get what I just said. So go to our website at unityoftacoma.org/donate to get more information. Our announcements for today. Next Sunday, I believe, is June 12th. We are already halfway through the year already. I can't believe that. I swear we had Christmas just last week. Our musical guest is Stefan Plummer this next week, so we're looking forward to having her back. We are continuing with our Mother's and Father's Day drive until Father's Day, which is June 19th. And you can donate via Zelle and PayPal, and just go to our website at unityoftacoma.org/donate. You can donate there. If you're interested in actually donating baby diapers or supplies with us, you can contact me at lori@unityoftacoma.org. That's LORI@unityoftacoma.org. And you can let me know, and I can make arrangements to have someone meet you here, and you can drop off those baby diapers. And we have, like I said, till Father's Day, June 19th, to take donations. If you like what's happening here at Unity of Tacoma, please share on your social media, whether that be Instagram or Facebook. We are on YouTube and TikTok and all of those places. And it's very social out there in the social media world. And so find us, like us, share with others. If you like what you hear today and you want to let people know what you're doing on Sunday morning at 10 a.m., let them know. Let them know that these messages are available to them all week long on our YouTube channel, and you can look at it and past messages from there and from our website. So please let everybody know what we're doing here. If you're watching on YouTube and you liked what I said, or you don't like what I said, but please be nice, please comment. Comment below the message and below the video and let me know that you were there. Say, hey, happy Sunday, or hey, I couldn't get you, but I saw you later, or something. Just let us know that you're watching. And you can also, if you're watching from our page on our website, you can also comment on that page as well. So please let us know you're there. We would like to know and interact with you and know that you're part of our Unity family. Even though we don't know you, we accept you as part of our family, but we just like to get to know you a little bit better. Our benediction for today is actually one of my favorite spiritual authors is Richard Bach. And so he has this wonderful thing. He has this wonderful book called Hypnotizing Maria that talks a little bit about what I talked to, but not in the same concept, but he does in a spiritual way, talking about hypnosis and how that works to transform and how you are your own personal hypnotist. So, and he says, when we're born on this planet, we're taught to believe that what we see is real. But we grow in understanding, and we recognize first that we've been hypnotized by that reaching. And second, that it's within our power to dehypnotize ourselves. And as we do that, the illusion appears to change, to come in harmony with what we most value. And if we most value love, we will begin to see more and more love, and joy and adventure, creative expressions of life shimmering everywhere around us. And so it is. Richard Bach. I want to thank Matt and Becky for being here and providing us such wonderful music. Thank you so much. And our closing song, you know it. If you could stand, that would be great. If you can't stand, that's fine too. If you know the words, sing along. And if you don't know the words, that's okay. It's a great song to hear. So listen with us and sing if you can.
Let there be peace on earth.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week.